机密驾到，到底谁是机密呢？就是本尊。
The other leader in the debate is Jane Stirk of the Green Party. And the Green Party is getting increasing in popularity, particularly in southern Vancouver Island, where they have a star candidate named Andrew Weaver. Andrew Weaver is a professor and a mathematician at the University of Victoria, and he's also was one of the leading climate change researchers in the world and was part of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which won the Nobel Peace Prize. So this is an impressive candidate running in Oak Bay, Gordon Head, and has a chance of being the first Green candidate ever elected to the legislature in British Columbia. The leader, Jane Stirk of the Greens, is running against Carol James in the Beacon Hill area of Victoria. And that's a tough fight for Jane Stirk because Carol James has been very popular in her own riding, and I think particularly with the seniors. So we've got the debate coming up. There was another debate last night in Vancouver Point Grey where David Eby is running for the NDP against Christy Clark. It's one of the most hotly contested constituency races in the province. But Christy Clark, the premier, did not show up. And instead, she sent a substitute, the Liberal candidate in Vancouver Quilchena named Andrew Wilkinson. So Andrew Wilkinson, he's a Rhodes Scholar. He's expected to win in Vancouver Quilchena. So he's been doing the debates in Christy Clark's place. And she's saying she's too busy. But Andrew Wilkinson has a bit of a problem that's just emerged in his race in Vancouver Quilchena, in that the Conservatives have nominated Bill Clark, who was a 4-term member of Parliament for Vancouver Quadras. So the Conservatives have one of their best candidates and most well-known candidates running in Vancouver Quilchena, which is the highest income riding in Vancouver. So the provincial political situation is very interesting for people who like politics, and it's particularly important because the provincial government in Canada is responsible for education, healthcare, social services, natural resources, many important issues, and has a major impact on the provincial economy and even on the laws around real estate. So if there are any changes to the Strata Title Act or the Real Estate Marketing and Development Act, those all come from the provincial government. So provincial politics is hot, but it's not the only thing going on. We also have a story in the Georgia Strait this week about Emily Carr University. We have a whole education section, but the cover story is about Emily Carr University of Art and Design, which is on Granville Island, and it's planning to move to False Creek Flats. And that's the area near the VCC Clark SkyTrain station at the end of the Millennium Line in Vancouver. So you've got the colleges moving. This becomes quite interesting because it raises questions about extensions of SkyTrain. If the college, once it gets to its new location, that will create some momentum for the provincial government to consider extending SkyTrain, the Millennium Line, from VCC Clark over to the college, which is at the corner of Great Northern Way and Thornton Avenue. And then from there, it's very easy to get up to Main Street. So if you extend the SkyTrain from VCC Clark up to Main Street, and then it could go along Broadway out to UBC. So this is one of the biggest debates, actually, about the future of our city, is where these SkyTrain lines will be built. So that's one of the reasons why the Emily Carr University move is important. But it also speaks to the rising importance of cultural industries in Vancouver. And this is something that is not particularly well known, but the cultural sector is actually responsible for, including indirect jobs, about 7.4% of Canada's gross domestic product, according to the Conference Board of Canada. So the growth of the College of Art, which is the second oldest post-secondary institution in British Columbia, is actually, it's almost a reflection and mirrors the growth of the cultural industry in British Columbia. So here you've got the college moving over there. They still have to raise some money. Christy Clark said she would put in $113 million for the new campus, but the college is going to have to raise another $21 million, and that's going to be a challenge. But the growth of Emily Carr, I think, is it says a lot about what's happening in Vancouver and how the economy is changing, and even the appreciation for arts and culture. So for WOW TV and the Georgia Straight, I'm Charlie Smith, and thanks for being with us.
Hi, I'm Janet Smith, arts editor for the Georgia Straight, here to talk about some of our biggest stories this week. And for sure, the biggest story in the arts news world this week and probably this year is that the Vancouver Art Gallery has been given a conditional okay by City Council to build a brand new big architectural new building at Larwell Park downtown. And what this means is that the art gallery will be able to double its exhibition space, and actually it's going to double its retail space as well on that site. So there'll be a whole new hub downtown over by where that park is. It's been a parking lot for years. What the move is conditional upon is the art gallery securing funding from other levels of government, and it's a large amount of money. The gallery needs $350 million or so to build this new facility. They're going to have to get $100 million from the federal government and about $50 million from the province in order to move ahead with this. Of course, they'll get the rest of the money through fundraising and so on. So that's pretty exciting. And meanwhile, while they now look to move to this new site, a whole bunch of arts organizations are now hoping to move into the old Vancouver Art Gallery. Among the ones that have announced their plans this week to do that is the Museum of Vancouver, which of course you've seen in Vanier Park. It's the one over in Kitsilano with the big crab out front. For years, it's been sort of talking about how it doesn't have enough space there. So it's hoping to move into the courthouse downtown where the Vancouver Art Gallery was. One of our other big stories this week about artists coming here on tour is Simon Shaheen. Now, he is one of the biggest musicians in the Arab world. He's a virtuoso on the oud and on the violin. And there's a lot of buzz about him coming here. He's kind of a provocative figure. He is Palestinian, and he came to live in America in the 1980s. And since then, he's gone back to the Middle East and become a huge star there, as well as a huge star here in North America. So here in North America, he's managed to take Arab music out of the places where it would normally be played, which would be small cafes and bars, and take it into the concert hall and show that it is, you know, a virtuosic classical form of music. In the Arab world, in the Middle East, he's also been kind of a provocative musician. He's sort of pushed Arab musicians to be a little more free about some of the ways that they play the music. It used to be held under very strict rules about how it should be played and so on. His show is called The Call, Songs of Freedom. And it's actually revolutionary music from the 1950s when the Middle East was fighting against colonial power, but he sees a lot of ties between that and what's going on with the Arab Spring now. So it should be a fantastic show. It's on Saturday night, April 27th at the Chance Center. And that's it for this week.
感谢收看今天的大温故事，我们下期再见。